Hi, how are you? And welcome to my channel. Welcome back. I guess it's been a long time. Mm, so, I promised to go through legal practice management. We will start with a topic guide which will help guide us in our future revision on the subject. And quickly, I will go through the topics, the main topics, and a little bit of subtopics just to see the overall situation. You know, before you do anything, you need to get the overall picture, and that is what this moment is for. So let us begin. Now we have I based this highlight of topics on Kimari's book. That is actually, I think, the only book I'm aware of currently. So I went through the book and collected these topics. Of course, it begins with introduction, what legal practice management is all about. Um, and according to me, I think it's all about the practical side of law, like having a law firm, what goes on in a law firm, what is this business of law, you know, what how lawyers conduct themselves, what they need for their business, what type of business they can set up, what kind of employees and which methods they can use to employ people, you know, all the requirements of privacy and record keeping, uh, all the issues and rules of employment, like fairness, the rules of non-discrimination, you know, all about the recruitment process, how to employ or how to to increase your workforce, and what rules are required to be followed. So it's all about, that is one important side of legal practice management. Then we go into uh, the overall general part, which includes like careers, career counseling, I call it, for lawyers, like career development, how you begin as a lawyer, what options to advance, you know, that is more general, like, you know, things that are supposed to just help us as we go through this journey to become advocates. Now, the main important things to note is when you are going through this book, you can take your time and read everything, and that will just give you like that confidence you need to sit through the exam. But most importantly, you just need to uh, focus on the main parts which are mostly examinable. Like you can see, when it comes to, we'll go through some questions and you can see the main areas from which exam comes. Mostly we have like three parts, which start with the accounts, the infamous uh, a part of this exam, the accounts, which I don't know how we'll do this, but maybe we can just have a session where we talk about the principles of accounting and the main general points to consider, like the language of accounting. Then we have sections on office management, human resource, office practice, human resource. Those like are the main areas, and yeah. So basically, we need to focus more on those during our revision. But other than that, let's just take this time and see the overall layout of the topics in LPM. So we have the introduction, the framework, like how you start up your business, your law firm, types of business or law firms, human resource, employee relationship, front office service, which talks about um, like how do you have like a reception desk, what goes on there, customer service, customer care, or legal framework for having that office, which includes licensing, safety, rules, advertisements, rules on discrimination. Then we have emerging issues of like the use of online platforms in place of what do you call the like physical reception desk. And that question came during I think I chose that uh, it came in the 2022 April exam. Was it question 7? Yeah. So Caroline and Anthony are discussing on the nature of the office layout and structure they would establish upon completing their studies at KSL. Caroline was of the opinion that the pandemic has made many firms struggle, okay, and has led to people working from home. So it doesn't like this that due to the pandemic, like the need for physical, you know, physical office was front office or office layout was not necessary. Now there was like an argument. You must argue for having a physical front office. So the case was to argue for having it. So that would mean when you're focusing on front office service in your revision, you would need to focus on the functions, the importance, and you would need to explain the advantages, yeah, of having a physical front office as compared to just people working from home. You know, like you have that one-on-one contact with the client as they walk in, the attitude, the mood in the room, the it's all about making the client feel welcome, understood, helped, uh yeah. So you would note those things, I think, which I tried to do but somehow it backfired. Anyway, so moving on, we would look at standards and procedures. This is like a topic, like it's more technical, how we have all these frameworks when it comes to employment standards. We have the Employment Act, the Labor Institutions Act, the HIV Act. So this is more technical. I don't know if I've seen a question on the same, but let me just see in the 2022 paper. Mm, Yeah, so there was one question on policy on section B, human resource management, which talked about uh, uh, you discussed 5 elements that should be taken into consideration in formulating a recruitment policy. That was 5 marks. Yeah. Yeah, so that one was there. Then yeah, so that one was there. Other than that, like the main believe it or not, the main the main part of the paper is account, to be honest with, which is section A. And then we have like this question 1, which is by chance, is up to chance. You could have it include accounting, which means now you would need to be very well prepared on that, in that area. But sometimes you could have it like this paper, April 2022. The first question, number 1, was advantages of a costing system. You explain the advantages, explain factors to be put in consideration before setting a cost accounting system. So those were like 7 marks total. Then there's like a random question on quality of work. You are told to discuss critical factors that will affect the quality of work in a modern and progressive law firm. That was 6 marks. Then discuss key methods a law firm can use to dispose of old and obsolete records. That was 7 marks. So yes, this paper might be okay, I don't want to use terms that might cause bias, but this paper might be a bit technical, especially when it comes to mastering accounts. But you could have a question like question 1, which just gives you all these marks just to help boost you in case you don't find the other part, the following part, section A of accounts, to be friendly. You know what I mean? So you would have to just get the overall layout, which is what we are doing right now, because when random questions come, they can come out of this. You need to know exactly a highlight of the overall layout of topics like this. Dispose of old and obsolete records, that is a topic. And records management, which involves how to keep records in a law firm, the importance of keeping them, the advantage principle and the methods, the filing, and the disposal. So the question on disposal of old and obsolete records came in question 1, and that was 7 marks. So if you had known there was such a topic as this, about disposing of old records, you could list those methods and explain them, and that would have meant you had 7 marks, So other than that, we have the parts on human resource management. I mentioned the part on recruitment. Did I mention recruitment? Okay, so there's a topic called recruitment. This topic is about how to increase your workforce, like how to bring on new employees. There's a topic on how foreign companies are supposed to do that. There's issues or challenges around that and emerging trends in the recruitment process. Of course, there's the recruitment process. And then there's a bunch of other random topics like career development, training, and career theories. But mostly, I think the most important thing here to know is how, like this question came, performing function of our recruitment of a newly established law firm is a complex exercise due to its hurdles created by internal and external factors. Discuss 5 factors that will influence the recruitment process. So you would need to know what factors will influence the recruitment process. But before that, you need to know what happens, or the stages of the process of recruitment, what happens from what to what. So that is one of the main highlights of human resource management area. And then there's this question which was just in the beginning, this area of employer-employee relationship. And there's a question that came, imagine, there's a whole question 5 in the April 2022 paper which came about employment relationship, and I chose that, and I don't know why I chose that. I thought I could just wing it, but I was wrong, I think, because when you choose questions which require depth of knowledge and have 10 marks without any breaking up of the question, I wouldn't advise you to go for that question unless you have all the information on the tips of your fingers, including the legal framework, case law. That is it. Like, don't go for that unless you're absolutely sure you read through the topic inside out. And this was about employer-employee relationship, uh, which is just somewhere there. uh, where are you? Just a minute. I think yeah, employer-employee relationship. It is just in the introductory parts of this book, Kimari's book on legal practice management. So you will see that this question had 10 marks, and it was asking, it was like posing an argument which you had to argue for something or against something. So the question read like this: the employment relationship is not just an economic and moral connotation. As a graduates of Kenya School of Law, discuss the arguments for and against the view and the implications for human resource management in any law firm. So you need to talk about the employment relationship, what it is, the nature of it, and you need to say why it's not just an economic and moral connotation. Like, what is there? Are there any laws regulating this relationship? Are there any risks? Are there any uh, policies in place? And then you're supposed to discuss the argument against the view or for the view and the implications for human resource. So you need to choose your angle. Are you against the employment relationship being just an economic perspective, or is it more than that? So I think I argued for it being more than just an economic and moral connotation. And yes, that was unwise because I did not have all the facts on my fingertips. Then you're supposed to explain uh, the implications of human resource management. Like, what are the effects? What here you would say the factor, the importance, the significance, the implications, the effects, the factors, the necessity for human resource management. So you would need to have those on your fingertips. Like, you would need to have some overall principles or concepts of human resource. You would need to discuss maybe the advantages or effects of human resource planning on the organization, or the need for demand and supply, all these things which we'll look at. So that is another area. You can see now, can get an idea. Then there was something, the topic of office practice. uh, Office management. This topic is also very important, other than because it's like it was covered twice. We can see that in question 7, which I told you about, having to do away with a physical front office, and you are to argue for the importance of having a physical front office. So you would need to know the effects, the factors, the the advantages of having a physical front office. And then this question also came in question 6, this topic. So in question 6, we were told, okay, it was more about procurement of quality products. So you are supposed to list 3 methods of procurement. Like, how are you going to go about it? Okay, as a procurement officer, how would you approach procurement? And you are supposed to explain the effects of inventory management, how to effectively have an inventory management system or manage one in the office, and why that is important. So that is that is office management or office practice. And then there's a whole area which wasn't examined about discrimination and sexual harassment. This area is important because, like I said, there's an overlap also when it comes to recruitment and why you shouldn't discriminate based on race, gender, or disability. So there's like an overlap, but most importantly, this is a whole topic on its own, and it focuses on the legal framework for discrimination, like, Article 27, which talks about there being fairness between equality between the female and male gender, and that applies to the workplace. Like, this whole discrimination and sexual harassment is like it's very deep and very what do I say, very wide. It will take you some time to go through this, all the legal framework, both local and regional, and I wanted to say universal, but global. Like, we have the conventions, the CEDAW, that is the Convention on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, and yeah, you would need to discuss forms of sexual harassment. You would need to go through the types of discrimination, the grounds for discrimination. So this area wasn't examined in the 2022 April exam. I don't know about the November paper, but I will secure one, and then we can just go through the questions and see and compare. Then we have the question on area on communication and ICT. So it's all about, this area is divided into ICT. For this, you would discuss the legal framework. Then it would go to how information and technology has affected the judiciary, and what achievements they have made in that area. The emerging issues would be like electronic evidence, the G-government, like you have the e-citizen where you can do your applications online, how that has affected the area of ICT, has affected the service delivery, advertising, electronic cybercrime. Those are effects and emerging issues. And yeah, it's basically online, how the online platform or internet has affected the legal business and the service delivery in the government sector. Then we have the area of communication, which is also like set aside, and that is, you just look at information flow process, the media, freedom of media, the acts, legal framework. Then you would have like a whole other area set aside for information. Where is that? Yeah, there is a whole area set aside for, where is it? I don't know where that is, but it's about information, and there being a need for privacy, there being a need for security of information shared, maybe confidentiality, all those things. I don't know where I noted them down, but it has to do with that. Then there's a topic on disaster management, like how to have a plan, how to respond to emergency. That is, I remember when I did my, what is fire security training, where we were taught on how to have like a disaster management plan, how to, how to respond. So I think it was a training on responders to fire emergency, and we had these firefighters come on board and train. But it's more like general, but it will, in this case, it will deal with maybe emergency in the workplace, like in a law firm, or how to respond to emergency in case of a fire or some other things, the legal framework based on that. Then we have job analysis and design, the principles. Then this question, it wasn't also examined, this area wasn't examined in the 2022 April paper, but I don't know about the November one. I will have a look. So job analysis, the process, principles, the purpose, the importance. It's like this whole criteria that has to be there in every area in this. The why is it important, the advantage, the disadvantage, the nature, the process, principles, the challenge. And in every area of legal practice management, you would need to know the emerging trends and the emerging issues in that area, like what changes have there been ever since this book was published, or maybe what is happening in the area of human resource right now with the advent of internet and online social media platform, advertising, then this area of recruitment and selection, which I think I mentioned, there's no need to go about that. Then this area of internal mobility, like how does how does an employee get promoted, how are they transferred, resignation, dismissal, like according to the law and legal